payable, business transactions, incoming invoices, credit memos, maintain payment terms. The next one is the define terms of payment for install payments. Now, what exactly you will be doing? It is just like a variant kind of thing. Okay, so let me explain about the installment payment terms. What we will normally do here, so we will create one payment terms as installment payment terms, like say XYZ. Okay, we will be creating as a payment terms, and you will be creating, you will be maintaining, it means you will be assigning some assignment of normal payment terms. What exactly this thing is? So before I get into that, let me talk about the scenario. Now, I have a vendor. I'm buying 1 lakh of 1 lakh worth of material. Okay, I'm buying 1 lakh worth of material. Now, as per the communication, as per the agreement with my vendor, what it is, so I'm going to pay 20,000 in 10 days, 30,000 in a month, it means 30 days, and balance 50,000 I'll pay in 60 days. It means I'm paying 10 days, 30 days, 30,000, and 60 days the balance 40,000, 50,000. So what is happening here? I'm not paying the entire amount in one stroke. I'm paying in installments. Okay, I'm paying 20,000 out of this 20 lakhs, 20% in 10 days and 30% in 30 days, whereas 50% in 60 days. That is the condition. That is what, you know, the agreement between the two parties, right? So in such a case, we will be using installment payment terms. You will not find this normally. You will not find this scenario normally. Normally we will have payment terms. That's it. We go ahead with the payment terms, but normally we'll not have this installment payment terms scenario. Okay, so what exactly you require here in order to achieve this? So since you are saying 10 days, you need one payment terms with 10 days, and you are mentioning 30 days, again you need payment terms with 30 days. Here it is mentioned as 60 days, you need payment terms with 60 days. So whatever the days I am mentioning, I need to have the relevant payment terms created. Okay, so I will be putting all of them in the installment payment terms. So in XYZ, I'll be linking these three payment terms. So the moment when I post this transaction using this payment term has multiple installments, so system will consider that accordingly. Okay, system will take care of that part accordingly. So what we are doing, we are creating one payment term. It is just like a normal payment terms, but we will not be mentioning the number of days and all. And within this, we will be entering these payment terms. That is what basically the installment payment terms scenario is. Any questions? Okay, so what are the payment terms we have? We have 60 days, we have 45 days, and we have 30 days. Let me take all those three. Let me take these three installments. Okay, so in order to have uh, installment, just go to new entries and create one payment terms. What I will say here, I will say um, 12 is this thing I'll just say as installment. Okay, I'll mention is as payment terms underscore installment, payment terms underscore installment. Okay, I'm using it for both customer and vendors, and I'm not selecting anything. I just have to select this installment payments. Okay, I, I have to just save it. That's it. I have saved. Now, this is just a code. It does not have any payment terms associated with this, but it is mentioned as installment payment terms. I'm going back, getting into the next transaction. Define terms of payment for installment payment terms. Path is IMG, financial accounting, accounts receivable, accounts payable, business transactions, incoming invoices, credit memos, and define terms of payment for installment payments. Just execute. Here you have something. In order to have our own, just go to new entries. What is our payment term created just little while ago? It is 12IN. Okay, 12IN. And I will say this is my first installment. Sorry. I will say first installment with some percentage. I'll put 20% and I'll put 35% and I'll put 45%. So 70, 80, 100. So I'm maintaining two payment terms. Okay, 12IN, 12IN. Now, the 20% that I'm getting in 30 days. So I will have to enter the payment terms 1230. And the second installment will be in 45 days. I will have to enter the relevant payment terms. And finally, the last one is 60 days and I'm selecting the relevant. Let's say in this case, let's say business wants 4 installments with 90. So we don't have 90 payment terms, 90 days payment terms. So what we will have to do is we will have to create payment terms with 90 days and come back here and maintain the same thing. Okay, just enter and save.
And
So
that
basically, yes,
these percentages may vary vendor by vendor. So every time, like how many
we
different
will have to
entries
create,
they
we will
create.
have to create, we will have to create as many as payment terms installment we can. So if a vendor has 20, 35 and 45, another vendor says 40, 40, 20, then it will not support for us, right? So we will have to create another payment installment. That's it.
Okay.
Just save it, come back. Okay, so this is the payment term, installment payment term, and this payment term has these three payment terms. Back. Okay, that's it. Now let's post a transaction. Open another screen and let me post a vendor transaction. F-53, 43, sorry, and 29, 28th September, August 1248, 28th August 2019, and currency going to be USD. I will say 200, 100, 1 lakh, and I will say here 12 I IN. Okay. Now I will say 40 expenses. I'm considering some expenses. So I'm taking the same amount. Car center. I will put some description as invoice with installment payment terms. Okay. Go to document, simulate. You see now. Here debit with 1 lakh. Now the vendor is not showing completely with 1 lakh. 20,000 20%, 35% and 45% because the due dates are different here. So you can see like this. Okay. Now when let's go into the vendor line item report. Just save it. Any questions here?
Why is not showing vendor line item here?
This all these are vendor line items only.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying, we are not finding the one vendor line item with total 1 lakh.
Oh, okay.
We are finding the amounts, different amounts, because we have payment terms, installment payment terms.
Oh, I see. Okay.
SCC4, this is perfect only, right? I think euro only. What is
Yes.
our configuration says? People are doing a lot of
I
things
mean,
here.
yesterday you changed back to euro. It was USD, and yesterday
Yeah,
you made change to euro.
euro, right. But still, why are we getting the same error? Let's see. Euro, perfect. So there is no problem. There should not be any problem with this. Okay, this is perfect. Let me post it once again and see what's the problem. Okay, so I'm posting the transaction again. So I will say 12 IN and 40. So I'm taking same amount, going into document, simulate, and I'm trying to save. System is giving an error. Let's say this. What's the problem? Customizing settings for ledgers, default value for postings in controlling area. So someone has changed something. Okay. Mapping variant select default values for posting and controlling not defined. Company code is now is assigned to controlling it. However, the default values of postings in are not set. Cannot post entries in controlling. Document type mapping variant in company code. Default variant checkbox. What is this? I'm just selecting this. It will take me to the defined document type for controlling business transactions. Normally we will enter here CO document type variant. CO, that is what we will consider normally. Why it is coming up? Okay, so I will say default variant, but normally we will maintain that CO, but I will check this. I'll just check this. What's the problem here in this? Okay, so let me try and post this transaction. Correct the customizing settings for ledgers for the universal. It's the same. And let's see if at all we have any issue here. Correct customizing settings for ledgers, default values. Make sure that K1 ledger group have the same name. I don't know what is this K1. We have not created K1. Let me just go and see. K1 is the ledger. Okay, financial accounting global settings, ledgers, define settings for ledgers and currency types. Okay, so K1 is here and company code settings. It is maintained in 1248. Let me delete that. Let me delete 1249. This is the other company code I have created for our financial foreign currency translation part. Okay, but anyways, I have deleted that part. Let's post this transaction. Let me do it FB F-43. 200, 100 is our vendor account. Amount is 1 lakh. Payment terms is 12 IN. So 40 is an expenditure. 400, 400. Cost center and text. So go to document, simulate, and you can see now I'm just posting. Document posted. Okay, document posted. Fine. 19 all zeros, 1 3 is our document number. Clear? So it may, if I go here in FBL1N, I'm taking 200, 100, and I'm selecting open items, but I will have to take today's date. I don't know whether it is going to be 29th. Okay, so I'm just executing. Here I have, see, the document number is the same for these three. Okay, now the document number is same for these three, right? Amount is 20,000, 35,000, 45,000. So you can see the split here. Now, let me take terms of payment. Payment terms. Payment, no. Payment method, payment terms, yes. This I'll keep before net due date. Okay. Right. See here payment terms. Normally it is based on the document date only. So document date is 28th and 30 days here, right? 1230 is nothing but 30 days, 1245, 45 days, 1260, 60 days. So from here, 30 days, okay? Net due date going to be this thing. Why here August will have 30 days only, right? So why it is showing 1230? Let me get into the payment terms. So from 28th August, 30 days will be this thing, right? So let me take this. So it is 30 days only. Okay, fine. Let me get into the payment terms. So it comes based on the what do you call configuration OBB8. OBB8 for payment terms, OBB9 for installments. Okay, 1230. 30 days it says that it is starting from posting date. But anyways, what is the posting date here? Posting date. Posting key posting date. So let me take posting date here. Posting date 20th. That is the reason. So it is based on the posting date, not based on the document date. Because the configuration, I think I have considered the document date only. Okay, that's fine. Anyways, whatever we have, system considers the same thing. Now here, the posting date is 20th. From this 30 days is going to be 19th. Got it? Any questions? And from 20th, 45 days will be this date. You can just consider from 20th, 60 days. No, it's going to be 20 days only. Why 20 days? I think we have some installment, right? Sorry, the cash discount thing we have. If we make it in 20 days, then this is what the, we will have, right? So 45 days and 60 days, but here it is showing as 20. Then after that, this is for cash discount. Yesterday we have discussed. So if I go here, see, if I make it in 20 days, it will be 10% of discount, and 60 days there is no discount. If you see over here, from 20th August to 19th October, that's going to be 60 days. It means the 20 days will not at all come into picture, right? 20 days will not at all come into picture. But if you make this payment, I mean this payment within 20 days, you will be getting some discount. But the date, whatever the date we can see over here, it is after considering the original number of days in the payment terms. Any questions? Okay, cool. So after this, we are going to discuss the bank. Then again, we'll come back here because automatic payment terms, all such requires the bank. Okay, let's discuss the bank accounting. It is very small topic, but it has some other, you know, what do you call uh, the BRS, electronic bank statement. It has a electronic bank statement. It's a small topic basically. So what is bank accounting? What does it take care of? Now, this bank account is very important when we are dealing with vendor transactions, when we are dealing with customer transactions. Okay, and even when we are dealing with all other postings, general postings. It can be a asset postings or general postings or any case. Ultimately, what my point is, very few transactions you can see in cash, and most of the transactions you can see in check transactions. It means whatever the transaction that we are doing, directly or indirectly, the transaction will happen through the bank. So what is the process in this case? Okay, so this is our company. This is our company, and here we have a vendor. This is our company XYZ Limited, and we have a vendor, and similarly, we have a customer. We have a customer. Now, I have a bank account with Bank of America. Okay, so this firm has a bank account with Bank of America. Now, what is happening? So XYZ Limited, we are buying the materials from this vendor. So we are receiving the material. In turn, what we have to do? Either we will have to pay in cash or we will have to issue a check. The moment we issue a check, let's say check is issued. The moment we issue a check, it means XYZ issued a check to this vendor. What this vendor does, he has a bank account with something else. Let's say Chase Bank. He has a account with Chase Bank. Now what he will do, he will go and deposit the check into this bank. And what his banker will do, the Chase Bank will pick up the amount from bank account, because I have issued a check and the check is relating to the Bank of America. So the moment I issue a check to this vendor will go and deposit into his bank account. His banker will pick up the amount from our banker. Okay, and similarly, the next case is customer. We are selling the customer. We are selling some goods to our customer. Now, what happens here? So in turn of this, we will be receiving the check. We will either receive a check or a cash. Okay, we will receive either a check or cash. So we will receive the cash or check from this customer. Let's say check, and he has an account with some other bank, ABC Bank or UTI Bank. Let us assume he has an account with the UTI and he gave us the UTI check. We have received the check. Now we have received check. Now what we do, as soon as we receive the check, we will go and deposit into our bank account, into our bank account. So we will go and deposit into our bank account. Now, what our banker will do? Our banker will collect the amount from UTI. He will pick up the amount from UTI because the customer has issued a UTI check, so our banker will go to UTI to pick up the amount. This is what the process happens. Right. Now, the important thing in this case is we have been posting some transactions using Bank of America account. Only one GL. We have only a GL. Now, there is a problem with this. If you go here in FS00, so you can find only one Bank of America account. Right. Now, SAP has come up with a different logic on the bank accounts. Okay, on the bank accounts. Now, according to it, there are two additional GLs required to be created. One is check issue account, the other one is check received account. Why? What is the importance of that? Now, suppose I'm issuing a check to this vendor. So what normally we will post: debit vendor account, credit American bank account. It means 1000. I'm posting 1000. What happens with this? Let's say in my bank I have $10,000 amount. The moment I posted this transaction of 1000, my bank should show 9000. My bank balance should show 9000. But typically this 1000 will be paid after some days. Why some days? It means, let's say I have issued a check on 1st March. Okay, I have issued this check to my vendor on 1st March. By the time the check, comes to this vendor, it was around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and this vendor did not want the check to be deposited on the same day. Let's say second Saturday, Sunday, and some other holidays. So probably he is depositing on 5th March into his bank account, right? Into Chase bank account. So he is depositing on 5th March into Chase account. And Chase account will go to America, Bank of America, and picks up the amount on 7th March. Let us assume. It means until 7th morning, I can say my bank balance is 10,000 only. My bank balance will show 9,000 only the day when I'm making the payment. So this 1000, whatever we are considering here, is called an interim transaction. It means to happen this transaction perfectly, it will take some time, probably a day, probably 2 days, 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, but it is not going to happen immediately. It is not going to happen immediately, right? So until that point in time, it means, so typically what we will have to do on 7th March, when our banker pays the amount, we will have to show 1000 in our bank and we can show 9000. And then only we will have to post this transaction. Because this transaction should not be posted on 1st of March. Instead, we will have to enter this transaction on 7th of March. But what happens since the number of transactions are more in a business activity, and business is very difficult to remember all these kind of transactions. It's very difficult for the business to remember. Now, for that reason, the SAP says an interim GL to be considered, nothing but check issue account. This is nothing but an open item managed GL. This is called open item managed GL account. Why we are saying an open item managed? It requires some calculation in order to clear. How it happens, the clarity clear. Okay, so let me explain with some journal entries so that you will understand. Okay, so as soon as we are issuing a check, we will enter vendor account and check issue account, right? Instead of main account, I mean Bank of America account, we will enter check issue account. So debit vendor, credit check. Now this check has been deposited, has been cleared from our banker. Okay, now what happens after our banker makes the payment at a frequent, at an interval, at an regular interval, so banker will send us a statement. What statement? It's called bank statement. We call it as bank statement. The bank statement says, I've issued these many checks. I have cleared these many checks. And I mean, these are all check numbers. I've collected the check amounts for all these. It says, it gives, these are all the payments and these are all the receipts. Okay, these are all the receipts. Now, this bank statement, we will have to adjust with our main bank account, not the check issue account. It means this process is called bank reconciliation statement. Let's say on 1st of March, our bank shows 10,000. 1st of March, okay. On 1st of March, our bank shows 10,000 and our bank statement also shows 10,000. Now, we have issued these many we have issued many checks, but banker paid checks for all these three and bank received all these checks. So let's say 100 to this, 150 to this, 300 to this, 500 to this. And check receipt, let's say 1,700, or let's say 650, 500. These are the checks received. Now, what is the balance going to be in the bank state as per the bank? Out of 10,000, these are to be deducted. So how much is the total? 1,050. It means 8,950 is the balance, and these are the receipts. 2,850. So the total going to be 11,800. 11,800 on, let's say, 10th March. So banker gave us this statement on 10th March and it shows us 11,800. Whereas our main bank account shows 10,000, right? Because the 10,000, we can see 10,000, and whereas we have 11,800 after considering these transactions. These are all transactions there in the intermediary accounts, nothing but check issue, check receipt account, right? Now, these checks issues are to be updated in our bank account. So, bank statement will be, I mean, we are incorporating the bank statement into our bank account, our account. It means we are equalizing our balances with the bank balance as on 10th March. So what we will do here, as we have issued checks, I will subtract checks worth of 1,050. I will be subtracting 1,050. So now what is my balance? It is going to be 890, and I will be adding the amounts. What are my check receipts? It is 2850. 2850. 2850. Now my balance as per the GL is 11,800, which is matching with the same thing. So this is called bank reconciliation. This is called bank reconciliation. It means bank reconciliation is the process to equalize our account balance with that of the bank account balance. So we are equalizing, we are making our balance also 11,800. In order to get this 11,800, whatever bank has deducted, we will be deducting. Maybe we have issued 6 checks. We have issued 6 checks, but only 4 checks have been presented. So we will have to consider only those 4 checks. We are not considering the other 2 checks which have not been presented. And similarly, we might have received 10 checks from our customers, but only 4 checks have been deposited. So we will have to consider only those 4 checks. So our intention in the case of bank reconciliation is we will be equalizing our bank balance here with the GL. So in order to equalize that, we will be subtracting, adding or something in order to make this balance equal to this balance. Any questions here? Okay. Now, so in this process, in the bank reconciliation process, system will generate an entry. What is that entry? Okay, so at the time of issue a check, this is the entry. At the time of updating the bank balance, I mean bank reconciliation, the check issue will be debited and credit will be bank account with the same amount. Earlier we were now if you see over here, what is happening here? Check issue is credited, debited, it means it is nullified. There is no impact at all. But still, why are we keeping the check issue as an intermediate account? Because the transaction, the check is happening on one day, and whereas the reconciliation is happening on the other day. So there is a lag, there is a time gap between these two. So until that point in time, we are maintaining that in the check issue account. The same will be debited here. Ultimately here, credit here, debit with the same amounts will be nullified. There is no impact in fact. So we were posting this transaction debit vendor and credit bank all these days. Typically, this is not the right approach to consider main account directly. So we will have to use check issue, check deposit account, check receipt accounts. So this transaction happens in the bank reconciliation. So similarly, in the case of customers, debit check receipt account, let's say 2000, and credit the customer. Okay, during the invoice, you know it very well, right? So debit expenses account, credit vendor account. So this vendor is credited here, it will be debited, this will be nullified. And this check issue will be nullified. Ultimately, debit expenses, credit bank. And here also the same, debit customer and credit revenue or sales. So this customer is debited and this customer is credited, nullified. Now in the BRS process here, check receipt debited and that has to be credited. Check receipt account should be debited, and what should be debited? Main bank 2000. So with that, what happens is check receipt will be debited here, the same is credited here, this is nullified, and customer is debited here, customer is credited here. Ultimate, what is left? Main bank account is debited, sales credited. So for that reason, basically we require some intermediary accounts. These accounts are considered or created as open item managed accounts. So in the case of open item managed accounts, here what is happening? This check receipt here debited, here credited. It means when the check account shows both debit and credit with the same amount, it will not be cleared automatically. It means it will remain as an open item. Now, you remember when we were discussing the vendor transactions, the moment we make the payment to the vendor, we used to see them in the green color. It means cleared item. But here on this transaction, when we have a debit here, when we have a credit here, and system does not make that as a cleared item, we will have to do the bank reconciliation process in order to clear that. Otherwise, we have to run a program to clear this. We have to run a program. We have separate transaction code that is going to be our one of the month-end activities. We have to run that particular transaction code in order to clear them. Similarly, GRIR clearing account. GRIR clearing, goods receipt invoice receipt clearing account. These are all called clearing accounts, intermediary accounts. So GRIR clearing account will come in FIMM integration, but at the moment just remember that. So GRIR a clearing account is also one of these items that is also be created as a open item managed account. So this is what basically check receipt, check issue. Any questions here? Right. In order to run this complete show, we need to have bank master. We need to have bank master. Okay. So let's do that part. I'm going into SPRO. Of course, we can do that from easy access also. Master data. This is a master data. Okay, so we can do it from easy access, and but here this bank master we have a configuration step also. Okay, I'm getting into bank accounting, and bank accounts define house bank. What is this house bank? Bank of America is one of the house banks. UTI Bank, one of the house banks. Then the Chase is one of our house banks. Within the house bank, within the American bank, we may have multiple accounts, but that's going to be one house bank. So house bank is a unique bank ID. Okay, so define house bank. Path for this is IMG, financial accounting, bank accounts, and define house banks. Just execute. Okay, so we have our company code here 1248, and when I double click on house bank, I don't have. It means for this company code we don't have any house bank. In order to create our house bank, just select new entries. Okay, so now house bank code, give a code to a house bank. I will say Bank of America. Bank of America. And where do we have? It is in US. And what is a bank key? It's a unique key every bank or branch will have. Like in India, IFSC code. it's called Swift code, kind of a Swift code. Swift code basically we will use in the case of international transactions, but whereas IFSC code, it happens within the country. So it's a unique code to a particular bank. If I want to, if I want to transfer to a bank account in Dallas, so Dallas Bank will have one account number. Maybe you can have the same account number in another bank also, or maybe in another branch within the same Bank of America, the account number may be the same. So how does the transaction recognize to reach the particular amount to a particular branch of the particular account? So it requires one identification code. So this code, in the combination of bank key and account number, you will not have another key, another record at all. So within the bank, we may not have two accounts with this. We may not have two different two accounts with the same number. We will have only one account. So the combination of bank key and account is unique. You will not have the same combination anywhere. Okay, suppose in Dallas we have Bank of America, we have Chase. So Chase will have one bank code, nothing but bank key, and Bank of America will have a different key. Though the number, I have two accounts in Chase Bank and as well as Bank of America, and the account numbers are same in both the cases, but my bank key is different. That way the transaction will recognize it easily. So I'll just say ABC. I'm just giving some code. I mean, basically this code that the banker will provide us. So bank key. Now just create. I'm creating now the bank. So what is my bank name? Bank of America. I will say CA, or I'll say marketplace San Francisco or San Diego. Okay, branch I will say San Diego. Okay, now here's Swift. This we will use in the case of international transactions. Okay, that's it. I'm just entering, saving. So I have created a house bank, only numbers. So we have a configuration wherein we can maintain whether you want the number or this thing. Let me get into there. Okay, fine. Anyways, I'll show you. Does not exist. Only the numbers. Okay, so I'm just saving now. Okay, Bank of America and CA marketplace and San Diego. Okay, I've just saved. Let me show you where does it control. It is at the country level. Let's see. So it will be here in the net viewer, general settings, set countries. Let's see whether we have in this. Define countries in my SAP systems. Let's say US. If you see our country US, it is not here. I'm just going back, going into the next one, country specific. Probably I think we will have here in this set country specific checks. So let me select US here, double click on this. Yes, here see, postal code length is this, bank account number should be this, bank account length number should be post bank account, tax number. Now further checks bank data, postal code, bank key. See here, bank key 1. So what is 1? 1 will be bank number. It will be a number only. Okay. So that is a condition. It is allowing the number only. And here we have this some maximum value length without gaps, numerical. So you can see a lot of things here. Bank number length should be 9. Okay. And maximum value length with numerical, some conditions. These are all some conditions. Okay. So basically it is happening from here. Okay. Let's go back to our topic. So now I have created house bank, Bank of America. Okay, I have created a bank. I've created a house bank, which is nothing but my Bank of America. Okay, now within this bank, I have 2 accounts, probably 3 accounts, maybe 1 account. Those accounts will be maintained here. Just double click on the bank accounts. No check digit procedure is planned for bank number with 5 digits.
It's the routing number with 6 digits.
Okay, so do we have 6 digits over there? Let me see. No check. I think there is some condition on that. No check digit procedure is planned for bank number with 6 digits. Okay, 7, 8, 9 is my invalid. Okay, I will just figure that out at the moment. Just let's go ahead with this. Okay. Okay, let's see bank account now. Now I think there is some issue here. Company code, why company code is not coming here? Company code has to come here. Okay, that's fine. I will figure this out. I think there is some issue over here. Okay, so if I go here in the change, it's perfect. Now why this is not allowing us to do? Okay, so let me just get this information so we can continue tomorrow. Okay. Any questions until house bank master data? We have a transaction code here in easy access also. Accounting, financial accounting, banks, right? Then master data, bank master record. Here you have FI01, this is one, and the next one is this house bank. If you see here FI12 underscore H bank, this is the new transaction code. Earlier we had FI12 only. Now in S4 it says as FI12 underscore H bank. Just enter company code. Here we have, okay, you can see the entire information. I think there is some issue with it. Let me just figure that out. Okay. And similarly, you can do it from this thing only. The other one we have is Bank Master FI01. Earlier also we had this similar one, FI0102. We had similar one. Okay. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what is our code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 accounts have been created. Okay. So this is what basically, you know, FI01, 0203 and FI12 underscore hatchback. You can do it from easy access also, or you can do it from the SPRO path. Okay, so I'll just figure this out. What's the problem here in this? Any questions?
So the house bank doesn't have account number. It only has
Account
a.
will have no. It will have an account number. That is what we will maintain over here. As I said, house bank, within house bank, we may have multiple accounts, current accounts, savings account, or we may have multiple accounts, right?
Yeah.
So we cannot create multiple house banks. Within the house bank, we will be creating multiple accounts here using this bank accounts option. Here
Okay.
we will be creating the account number.
Okay.
Okay, so we will continue this tomorrow. Okay.
Sure.
So I may have not sure exactly. I mean, we will be having one call every Thursday, but not sure so far. I've not received any communication, but that's going to be between 6 and 7. So we may come around 6, 7:15 or something. If we don't have a session tomorrow, we will be having on Friday. If you all okay with that. Okay. If not possible tomorrow, I mean, if it is not happening tomorrow, then every Thursday it's not possible for me to do, because the meeting is a recurring meeting every Thursday. It is between 6 and 7. Okay, if that does not happen, we can have on Friday and Saturday, Sunday as usually. Okay,
But in case
is
if you
that
don't
fine?
have a, yeah, that is absolutely fine.
if
But
if we do, if I don't have any meeting, I mean, I'm not going to drop any message in the WhatsApp. If there is a meeting, then I will provide by afternoon tomorrow itself.
okay, that's fine.
So if in case if we are not going to have tomorrow, we can have it on Friday.
Okay.
Is everyone fine with it?
I'm fine.
Mudassar?
Yeah, I'm fine too. That's okay.
Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Otherwise, Nanda,
Mm-hmm.
we can do one thing, that, since you're going to have a meeting every Thursday, let's keep it, that no class on every Thursday, and rather, we can, just have a class on every Friday.
That's what I will confirm you on
If
that
that is
tomorrow.
okay with
Yeah,
everybody. Okay.
yeah. I will just check. I mean, I'll confirm you back on
Okay.
this tomorrow afternoon, before afternoon, because last
Okay.
week we had that, since we had go live recently, right? So I mean, there was some discussion to have every Thursday call between 6 and 7. Not sure about that because so far I've not received such communication yet. So probably I will have some information by tomorrow afternoon. If that is the case, okay.
Mhm.
I mean, by the time I come, that's going to be 7:15 and 7:20. If you guys are fine, even that time, I'm absolutely fine. I'm happy to take that, and we can go ahead. I mean, as per our schedule, to keep off on Friday. I'm absolutely fine even for that.
So
Okay.
we are okay
Anyway, huh?
in a,
Yeah. Anyways, let me talk
either way.
individually.
Either way, we
Yeah.
are fine.
Right. Let me talk individually because the voice, there is no voice at all. So probably I can talk individually. Okay, fine. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.